It's like smooth R&B.
Hi everybody, welcome to Chopsticks Alley Talk Live. As you can see, we are doing a whole different look, a whole different way of approaching everything. So we're calling it Chopsticks Alley After Dark. Anyways, the topic of discussion today is quite important for us, and it's about what's up with Vietnamese businesses. We're talking about retailers, restaurants, etc. So first, I'd like to introduce all my co-hosts. First, I am Trami. I am your RV driving, scooter riding, and banh mi eating chick, otherwise known as the boss.
And hey, I'm Carolyn. I am your everyday badass feminist. And by the way, feminists do not hate men. We hate patriarchy. # smash the patriarchy.
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Chung. I'm your impulse buying millennial who lives for Instagram worthy food. I'm an aspiring boss babe and soon to be Forbes under 30.
And having our guest today, very special guest, and that is the one and only Chef David Foo, who is quite famous at the moment, I believe.
Soon to be, hopefully. I'm a Vietnamese American chef from Oakland, first generation, very proud, and I was lucky enough to be considered a rising star chef in 2017 from the San Francisco Chronicle.
So proud of you.
Thank you. Cooking Vietnamese food is what I do. So.
Yeah, and he helps elevate it too, right?
Yeah, of course.
Make it better. So we would like to share with you a few updates, and for us, check out our podcast. So go to soundcloud.com, Chopsticks Alley, and you'll find all the interesting stories that we're doing, and they're actually quite controversial, and we have one coming up very soon. Also, we have paid internships. You guys, come on. You want to be photographer, videographer, editor, writer, dancer.
You want to come for the
We take them all.
Yes, we take you all. And actually, it's paid internship, and it's market rate. So you got to check us out. Send us an email at chopsticksalley@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And to get these interns, we've worked with Work to Future, who also happens to be today's sponsor. So thank you, Work to Future. Work to Future provides training and secure employment for thousands of youths and adults every year. All their services are free, and they're interviewing now for all internship positions. So if you're interested, or also if you are a business interested in hosting interns, go to work2futurefoundation1.org or give them a call at 408-794-1234. Now, before we begin, I wanted to share my Chopsticks Alley moment of the week. So yesterday, I had the biggest first world problem. So I was driving my brother to basketball, and lo and behold, I got a flat tire. Okay, so I spent all like 3-4 hours trying to figure that out, right? I got it figured out. And then, as I was pulling my Louis bag out of the trunk, it ripped. And I've had this... It ripped. And I don't know how to fix it, and I've had this bag for like years. Yes, there goes my money. So if anyone in the audience knows where I can get it fixed, let me know.
You can take it back to Louis Vuitton.
You think so?
Yeah, they'll fix it for you.
With money.
Of course, with that.
You should start a fund me.
Yeah, fund me. Fix my Louis bag. What about you, David? What was your Chopsticks Alley moment?
I think my Chopsticks Alley moment was Chef's Feed, which is a branch off of Bon Appetit magazine, approached me to kind of tour my hood, quote unquote. And then, I took them to a few Asian American dining establishments in Oakland.
Wow.
What's your favorite?
Coincidentally, they're all women.
Yeah,
my
go
favorite.
women.
It's kind of hard. It's between those three. There's Thai Ho in on Webster in downtown Oakland.
Yeah, I love it. They're Thai Ho.
I've never been
Denise
there.
is a good friend. Shout out to Denise and her mom. Her mom makes banh cung and never lets it sit for more than 15 minutes. She's like a Nazi back there.
Yes.
My other chef friend, Chef Nora. Shout out to you, Nora. She's in West Oakland, and it's called Dripline. She does Malaysian street food. She does the best chicken fat rice I know.
I think we need to make a trip out there.
Yeah, with you, so you can get us, first line, right?
And then the third was my over at Pho Hung Wei Cafe, and they do chicken pho.
I love chicken pho.
Yeah, with the Hangung sauce.
Really, the authentic way.
The authentic stuff, yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you? Oh, yeah.
For me, I wish they were all positive like you guys, right? Because I've been thinking about restaurants, and this is like on top of mind for me. So I had all kinds of bad.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. So like recently I went to a restaurant, which shall remain nameless. You know, with this heat, this crazy heat, right?
Yeah.
So I ordered bumja, which is like a grilled pork thing. And I'm eating, I'm like, it tastes sour. And I'm thinking, maybe that's the way they make it here.
No.
Because I've never had it at this restaurant.
Yeah.
But instead of like letting everyone know, I went up to like the manager person and I said, I think something's wrong with your meat. And she's like, give it to me. I'm like, right, I have to go back to my table, go bring it to her, right? No.
Yeah.
Normal American restaurant would be taking it away, comping me whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
But Vietnamese, that's how we do it. And I bring it up, she tastes it, she's like, because today it's so hot, and then the people in the back, they work off of this huge pail of meat, and it's not refrigerated.
Gosh.
Anyways, don't worry, I'll make you a new one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. She makes me a new one. I taste it. It's not sour. It's great. And she says to me, but in Vietnam, people eat bad meat all the time.
Oh,
So you
wow.
won't be sick. Don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, what? So
Yeah.
that's my crazy moment. No, not a fan.
Can we at least know where the street was on?
No.
My Chopsticks Alley moment was earlier today for lunch. I went to a Vietnamese restaurant, and the food is really good, but the service all the time, it's always like the same service. I sit in, and they're like throwing me the menu, and it's like pages and pages and pages, and
Like
they're
the
like,
second you
"What do you
sit
want?
down."
1 second." And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I grew up with that.
Yeah.
But what I really don't like is they wear like these white latex gloves, and you can see that they're stained. And when they give us our,
What's the point of
ice?
having
I
it?
know.
Protecting their hands.
They're protecting their hands, but they're not
hands.
protecting
Yeah.
So what made it worse is when they were giving us our iced water, they'll hold it like
With the
like
finger
this,
inside,
like
yeah.
like this. And I wanted to say, I think you should hold the cups like this.
Or
you
like
give
when
it
they
to
bring
us.
your pho in and their thumb is like.
yes, like that. So, yeah, that's my Chopsticks Alley.
I thought that was a cultural thing. You just mix the pho together.
Yeah.
The
Well,
finger.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing your Chopsticks Ally moment. If you have a Chopsticks Ally moment, do share with us too. Don't forget, we welcome any feedback throughout the episode. And again, thanks for tuning in. You are our #1 fan, so. Alright, let's dive in.
Okay, so let's talk about service since we're already on that topic, right? So why the bad quality, the cleanliness, the lack of professionalism, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and also the very casual way that they speak to us.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
You are in the restaurant industry, you probably know better.
Yeah, I think service is a Western thing. Restaurants per se, I don't feel like they really existed in Asia. If anything, it was a stall.
Yeah.
There was no like menu. It's like,
Yeah.
this is what I make. I make jiao. I make wankan. Come pay me. I'll give you the bowl. You go sit down.
Right,
So-
right.
So I think I think us, was it maybe four at the most, maybe 7 generations in, and anywhere in between that range.
Yeah.
I feel like the transition has been difficult for all these like newcomers of the wave of Vietnamese immigrants,
Yeah.
and I don't think they embrace it the way we embrace it as fourth, 5th generation Vietnamese Americans.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think service is part of that whole aspect. It's not part of their business model. They don't care for it. They don't need it.
Yeah.
And I think if you add it on, it's another thing on top of their costs. And at the end of the day, Vietnamese businesses in particular are all about the costs.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And if you think about it as well too, it's not just you go to anywhere, any stall, any food place in Vietnam, no matter how horrible the service is, as long as the food's amazing, people
Yeah,
will pack it.
that's true.
So there's no importance in service.
Right, and
in
also
their
like
eyes.
the American audience actually assume they will get bad business, so they don't even have high expectations.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
to me, that's a really a sad thing.
Yeah.
Don't you want to elevate your business so that people will perceive you differently instead of put you in that stereotypical
culture,
box?
or your
yeah, or
culture.
your culture. You're representing a culture,
That's why
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
right? Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to do.
exactly.
But it's hard for us because we're not. Jen and myself and you. We're not purely, Vietnamese, where we're in the cross paths of being American and Vietnamese, and we have to kind of like meet halfway, so that's a reflection of that,
Yeah, like here, I don't work in the restaurant industry, I work in the beauty industry, but we, our demographic is mostly Vietnamese women. And for us, the reputation that Vietnamese businesses always cut corners and there's a lack of ethics affects us too, even though like me as a younger generation, I'm trying to embed this different culture in. But let's say for cosmetics, for instance, right? There's plenty of businesses out there, Vietnamese businesses, that cut corners by changing the quality of their products, right? So that they can make more profit. And so let's say the second we change our packaging to what we think is improving it, customers come in and are all like, oh, like, why are you changing the packaging? Are you changing what's inside? And then they accuse us of that because there's such a bad rep already.
Yeah.
So it's hard to shake out.
It's hard to shake out.
shed that, stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all agree on that. So really, okay, so instead of complaining, which we love to do, right? So what can these businesses do? For sure, I think if you're a newcomer and you're old, you don't speak Vietnamese, I get it.
Yeah.
But when you're young and you're opening a new restaurant, and you speak English, what is your excuse? Because that's happening. I mean, boba tea, right?
Yeah, definitely.
One opens up, then suddenly all the copycat ones open up, serving the same exact thing with the same bad service. They all speak English with their fancy, paying machines. What's their excuse?
I think it's resources. We need more resources. They need access to resources because I guess the mentality is hey, my neighbor is like selling milk tea and they're making a profit. I'm going to run right next to them and I'm going to make profit too.
Yeah. And and the Vietnamese are like incredibly entrepreneurial. So some of the statistics that I was reading about Vietnamese business people is that the number of businesses owned by Vietnamese people in the United States has increased by 56% since 2002.
That's
so
great.
that's really
that's
big.
a lot.
Not only that, the Vietnamese owners have increased the businesses, the revenues is like 28.8 billion a year, and this is like I think measured in 2010 or 2007.
Wow.
Great.
And we're getting so many like business here that are like Vietnamese people that are owning it, but for some reason it's just like it's all this competition because we're all like serving the same stuff, opening the same restaurants, and you think like the market's really high because at least in San Jose we are the second highest number of like overseas Vietnamese Americans.
And we're ready. We're ready for the trendy stuff. Like when I go to Vietnam to visit, I love it, right? Even the coffee shop is trendy.
They're innovating way more than we are here in the Vietnamese community.
Absolutely.
Here, if it looks like Starbucks, we're like so proud. I'm like, give me a break. Like, do something different.
And I think one of the reasons why is because in Vietnam, the people there, the population most of them is below 30, representing like about 47 million people below 30. So they're very youthful.
Yeah.
So the Vietnam's demographic of youths, they're the main drivers of the country's consumer market. And if we're talking about, if they're youths in Vietnam and they're business owners, the business owners here, we're thinking like mostly first generation, so they're a little bit more outdated. They're not trendy, but the Vietnamese Americans here, most of us are youths. So the market is us. It's just that there aren't a lot of young us business owners.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give it to like older generations because they want to be their own boss and they want to take charge of their own life, that they've stepped out and they created their own businesses. But for younger generations coming in, like their kids, it becomes this whole family business dynamic where they don't trust their kids. They don't believe in spending more money for certain things, and that's why these kids feel like, oh, I'm not worthy of it. I'm gonna go do my own thing, and then now it becomes this thing where only the parents are dealing with it.
Yeah.
And let there be light.
I think it's I have a lot of Jewish friends. I work with a lot of Jewish people. They mentored me and throughout my career, and I could definitely see the crossroad in the past of how things are similar in their culture and ours.
Yeah.
Vietnamese and Jewish people, we both went through horrendous wars.
Yeah.
And I think in reflection of that, it impacts people in a very deep way. It's funny that, it's interesting that you guys mentioned that the older generation here, they don't want to change. They're mostly first generation business owners and they're older. What that means to me is that because they've been through this war and they've heard those stories and it's been very close to them, they hold on to nostalgic things and nostalgic ideas. The
Like the music.
Yeah, like the
right?
music.
When
like,
we go to these restaurants, I feel like I want to slit my wrist. you know, it's
so
all this kind of music that just...
Exactly, like so the Jewish deli and their pastrami sandwiches, and us, our Vietnamese is always banh mi and spring rolls, and they don't want to innovate because they're like, I don't want to give this up, we were forced out of our country, and I want to hold on to these things.
It's bringing a piece of like their old Vietnam over to you.
But I get that, and I sympathize with that, and I get it. So I'm expecting that. But the new generation, come on. Come on, and even the name, right? Let's talk about marketing. Let's, market your business differently. Look at other successful American businesses. They don't have like a dictionary of menu items. They only need to make 5 really good items and be successful. Start to think about these different business models,
And trendiness is like a really, really big thing. When you go somewhere nice, it feels nice. But the thing is, I can think of like with Vietnamese Americans, when we go into a Vietnamese restaurant and if it happens to be trendy, we are already knowing that like we're thinking, oh, we're gonna pay extra for the decor, for the wax candle on our table, right? And so, but the thing is, when we go to other restaurants, we go to like a nice ambiance type of restaurant, we don't think about like, oh, I'm gonna be paying a lot for all this decor. We're thinking we're paying a lot and for good value for this dining experience for ourselves, with our friends, and so it's kind of like a double standard.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of trendiness, I do want to mention that a report that we came across showed that Asian American women tend to be intercultural, so meaning that they absorb different cultures into their own lives and are savvy, not just in business but like on social media, being an international traveler, and this in turn reflects on their way of doing business, and so they actually come up with more of the trendy businesses.
We're creative. We have an eye for aesthetics.
Yeah,
that's really great.
It's my spirit animal.
That's right. So the other thing I want to talk about is how they don't accept credit cards, and that's cash only businesses and not accepting credit cards. And I think for the short-sighted business owners, they think, hey, I don't want to pay 2.75% interest on that transaction. But guess what? You also miss out on thousands of dollars that people would spend if you did take credit cards. So, right, if I go in a restaurant and I know only have $30 on me, I'm not going to order all kinds of food, right?
Or I might just leave.
Makeup. I might just leave. Where if I had a credit card, I'm like, I'll order that extra drink. I'm gonna, because it's no longer this cash-based society. In Vietnam it is, but not here.
That makes the Vietnamese community suffer because your revenues are lower and you can't invest in yourself. You can't expand. You're a small mom and pop forever.
And like I get frustrated. Like I come in and I have to check for that cash only sign. And if I see it, so oftentimes I get so frustrated. Like I'm not gonna support a business that is cash only.
I think there needs to be understanding for it too. Like I've dove deep into this topic because I talked about banh mi. And why were they paying on their table and all that stuff. And I think what it boiled out for me is that I think mainly these first generation immigrant Vietnamese business owners are not trusting of a government body. I see it in my mom, like she, and my parents, they don't want to ever reach out for help, but they'll penny pinch and they'll do what they can with what they have in their own hands to be better. And they don't like to ask for help. Maybe it's a cultural thing too.
It is absolutely a cultural thing because when I worked with SBDC, I approached Vietnamese businesses to offer them free help. There's free help out there. The government gives you help for free.
It supports us.
Yes.
There's support out there.
But what happens is there's no trust. So they thought that I was there to track them, that I was there to report on them, that I would bring whatever info, or if I'm back there teaching them how to be clean and how they manage food, that I'm going to take it to the food department, to report on them. But it doesn't work like that. And I don't know how to explain it to them for them to understand. And then on top of it, because it's a cash paying thing, You know they're collecting the money, put it under the mattress or whatever. When it's time for them to invest in their business, to upgrade, they can't. They can't get a loan. That's why Vietnamese businesses stay old forever.
Yeah.
And then when they want to go buy a home, they can't because they can't even show that, hey, here's $200,000 deposit because it's not season money.
Exactly.
Right? It's like from a mattress. So they're like, where does money come from?
Yeah.
Well, now you're really in trouble if you say okay.
Exactly.
Like at my family's business, we recently installed like a point of sale system, and it allows us to charge tax on there. And so now, we've been around for 10 years, and it's like that time where we take on the next step.
Yeah.
And so now, like on all the transactions, we charge a sales tax. The first month, we had this since April, and the first month was horrible. Literally every customer that came in, why are you charging sales tax? You take the sales tax off. I don't want to buy it if you're charging sales tax. And we have to leave up a sign. We kind of explain to them, hey, we want to get our papers right. And by doing that, we need to charge you a sales tax. In return, though, we will give you like mask or lotion or whatever so you can understand for us, right?
So it's not just a business, but the consumer needs to learn that they're in America now. Things are different.
And they will accuse us of not like using that sales tax for more profit versus using the sales tax for what it actually is for.
So illegal like that.
But it's unfair. It's a double standard because they don't think about like the tax that they have to pay for a cup of Starbucks.
Right.
We asked them. I was like, hey, you go into Walmart, you're gonna have to pay sales tax. Why can't you support us as a Vietnamese business? And they're all like, no, you need to advertise that you charge with tax. And I'm like, Walmart does not tell you that they're going to charge you sales tax. It's known. Like, why can't you support us for that? And she was just like, no, I'm cheap. I don't want to support you. And, I mean, this is just one customer.
I love that she said
cheap.
But I'm cheap, guys.
Hey, she's on
it got me in the heart.
Yeah, it's like, we know, right? Yeah. So what about the managing of the business? It all comes down to that, I think. And I think that if Vietnamese businesses came together, solidarity, and have a meeting and say, you know what, let's change the way we do things. So sometimes it takes a chamber of commerce to do this, right? Vietnamese, in this area, Northern California, we formed a few chambers already, but all of them failed.
Oh, no.
And the reason is because then it becomes self-interest, and then people don't trust each other. So how do we do this? I mean, every ethnic group has a commerce, and we are one of the biggest one, yet we don't have one.
It's the divide. The divide is in the thought festivals. It's in the businesses. It's
all
in
the
everything that we do. The pageants, which is a whole other episode, ladies
That's
and
a whole
gentlemen.
other topic right there.
But it's because there's so much competition. I think one of the reasons why, because Vietnamese business owners are opening the same
business.
things.
Yes.
It's opening the same like pho restaurant, but the thing is they also serve bun sao and gum tam and all that stuff, and so that's why your menu is so extensive. And when you go to Vietnam Town, they can open 10 restaurants. They might have like different names and different food dish in their names, but you'll still see the same food.
Yeah, and I blame that on the complex management, because in American complexes, when you rent a place to open your restaurant, they guarantee that no competition will open in that spot with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
With Vietnamese complexes, it's like free for all. You can open whatever.
Well, yeah, that's true, because you don't see, a Starbucks, a Phil's, and a Pete's in one plaza, or a Baskin Robbins and a Cold Stone and a Yogurt Land. But when you go to like an Asian plaza, there's like
10 bobas.
Yeah.
Why would you want to open if they have like already 2 boba places?
Right.
But my boba is better.
I'm going to open one that says not pho. Not for you.
And what Jen said earlier was right. It's because one of us is doing so well in the boba industry, maybe I'll open one too. But the thing is, we suffer because you'll see these businesses get closed down and they're being replaced.
We're crabs in a
over
bucket.
and over.
Yeah, we're crabs in a bucket.
Crab
That's a
mentality.
Perfect metaphor for us.
Yeah, and I really do think that Vietnamese businesses should spread out more rather than being congregated in one plaza.
Yeah, I definitely do think that as our community, we definitely have the talent. We have the skills. I mean, we have the talent, we have the determination, and we have this we should have the support from one another. And I think that our generation in the next couple of years will really change that.
Yeah, we're counting on you guys. I'm the previous generation. I'm just gonna sit back and watch, right?
Yeah.
So it's really good to do that.
Well, I mean, like, are you planning to ever open like a restaurant or a business? Like,
Their aspirations to dive into retail.
yeah.
And the pop-ups will go strong in a brick and mortar in the near future.
So, what kind of advice would you be able to give to other business owners?
I would say the only successes that I've been able to have, it's not because I'm talented or I think I'm talented. It's definitely because
it's the tattoos.
It's the tattoos.
You guys see him? He has flowers on them too. It makes them a little nicer.
Yeah.
So we're asking him to put a Chopsticks Alley logo somewhere.
Or
Wait,
right
1,000
right
likes,
on
and he's gonna give us 1,000 likes, and he's gonna get it tattooed on him.
10,000 likes.
10,000
Here's the
likes.
logo. There's tape on it already.
Yeah, just tape it right now.
That's your
Just get it
stencil.
ready
Once
right
you guys
now.
comment on this, man, right there. Right there. Yeah.
That's it. That's how we're gonna do it.
Groupies, right?
All right. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you to our sponsor, Work to Future. They provide free training and secure employment for thousands of youths and young adults every year. If you are a business or a student interested in becoming an intern, reach out to them. Their website is work2futurefoundation.1.org, or call them at 408-794-1234. And if everyone can give a quick one-liner about today's episode, what you want to share with the audience.
Well, before we even do that, for Work to Future, I just want to mention something real quick. Right now it's summer, so all of their internship positions are open. So kids, basically, or young adults, so if you're 24 years or younger, you should definitely go and apply. And you can apply for cool jobs like at Chopsticks Alley.
Yeah. The only place to be.
The only place, yes. So let's share something, as Jen mentioned, with the audience who are listening. They're thinking about opening a business, or they have a business and they're struggling with this. What should they do?
Or if you're in a family business and you want to reach out, for me, I've faced a lot of challenges with my parents in the Vietnamese family business, and I've learned the one key thing is communications, patience, and respect. All those things combined can really help elevate your family business.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, me? I would say none of my successes were solely from me. It was definitely from friends and, having a sense of camaraderie with my other chef buddies and everyone else in the industry and helping each other out. When you have a network of, like, say, hundreds or even thousands of people and you need something and you're able to reach out to them, people have different connections for help. So you never know, so you can't take on life by yourself, let alone a business.
Yeah, so like pride, which as Vietnamese we have a lot of pride, right? We don't like to ask for help.
It's a good and bad thing.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, ask for help. My gosh, the city, the county, the state, the federal government has so many free programs. So if you're female and you are a minority, you fit into a whole other category of free help and free financing for you and advice. So if you're not good with social media, go to them. They'll teach you. They'll show you how. If you're not good with management, not good with money, you need money, anything. There's
legal
all
advice.
kinds. Legal advice.
Free legal advice.
Yes,
Awesome.
right?
For me as a consumer, I can't really speak too much to the business aspect. But what I'd like to see is that, with Vietnamese business owners, if we're embracing capitalism here, capitalism knows no bounds. We need to be able to market to not just Vietnamese people, right? So instead of just opening up your business in a Vietnamese plaza, market it to everyone. In San Jose, there are over 100,000 Vietnamese people living in San Jose, but the population is 1 million. So if you're only marketing to 10% of San Jose, you're losing out on all that profit. So, to be like this capitalist-driven business, you want to speak to the contemporary generation, which is like, trendy. You got to be Instagram-worthy, Pinterest-worthy, TripAdvisor-worthy. Snapchat.
And don't dumb it down. Just because you're feeding an American audience or non-Vietnamese audience does not mean you have to dumb down your food. Don't make it like weird nước mắm stuff, okay? Like that's just crap. We don't want that, right? So anyways, thanks for joining us. Follow follow us on Instagram and Facebook and where else?
SoundCloud.
Yes.
We have
And
some really
give
awesome
us your
podcasts.
feedback. We want to hear from you. And if you want to come on our show because you have a strong opinion and you want to share, send us an email at chopsticksalley@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And check out our website too, right? You can sign up on our newsletter for updates.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.